Welcome to Topic Talks, where we talk about the topics you care about and leave out the ones you don't.
We talk about what most news sources don't: media, movies, and the multiverse.
We even invite guests to come talk topics with us.
Come join in on the fun.
Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the giant conversation of this Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingsmith, and joining me once again is Matthew. Hey, Matthew.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
I like it. So how was your week, Matthew?
It was pretty good. So was a little busy. Went up and visited a few friends. So drove. Oh, I visited a friend out in Port Huron, which was my first big adventure driving alone. So
That's not a bad adventure.
Yeah.
It's a decent drive. I drove out of Port Huron once or twice.
Yep. Oh, it's not a bad drive, but it was an hour and a half, and I got dinner at Ruby Tuesdays because my friend was working there, and
There
went
you go.
all the way out there. So yeah, it was.
And you
it
were
was good.
hungry.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, no, my weekend was the same as it always is, work, mowing, work, mowing, work, mowing, show prep, all that stuff.
The huge.
The huge. Same stuff, different day, whatever floats your boat. I guess. Yeah, so but nothing extravagant happened in my week or my weekend.
Maybe not our week, but someone else's.
I like that.
It's a nice segue if you take it.
I know. I was trying to think of a response for that. I was gonna say it may not have been this week, but it was a week that was good. So 10-year-old boy has the best story that I think you will ever hear. His name's Jaden Fonat. We'll go Fonat. He is a 10-year-old boy that lives in Sulphur, Louisiana, and well, he got a real experience, if you ask me, because he had to deliver his baby brother at 10 years old. So that's kind of huge, isn't it?
It's remarkable.
I think it's pretty good. I think he's gonna end up being a baby doctor one day.
Baby doctor?
Baby doctor.
I can see it.
So his mother, Ashley Muir, said, I said to Jaden, "You'll always have a special bond with your brother," and she went on to say, "I'm just so proud of him. He saved our lives." So this was just this is a remarkable story, and it was a very, very complicated thing altogether, but essentially what happened was they'd gotten up, or this was about August 11th, and the Ashley, who's 36 years old, got up to go to the bathroom and realized her water had broke. And her husband or boyfriend, I don't know, I think it's husband, had already left for work. And she looked down, and it was a little bit graphic, so beware. But she saw the baby's feet sticking out. And I'm like, uh-oh. So, but that also meant that was an uh-oh because the baby was, coming. But that also meant that it was in what's called the breech position, which means the feet are coming out first.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody knows anything about childbirth, the head's supposed to come out first. So I think his name's Kelsey Reichert. This girl's fiance had already left for his job. He's a mechanical engineer. And so she called her son Jaden in, and tried to send him next door to get their grandmother, Frances. And she had just had back surgery. Perfect timing, right? She just had back surgery and was unable to walk. So she called 911, and Jaden sprinted back, and his mom's like, "You're gonna have to deliver your brother. We have to do it fast, because the feet were turning blue at this point." So, he's like, "Okay, tell me what to do." Which I want to pause for a second. If my mom told me I had to deliver my baby brother, if I had a baby brother, and I was 10, I don't think the first words out of my mouth would be like, "Okay, tell me what to do. Let's do this."
Yeah, no, I'd freak.
Right.
I'd freak.
So yeah. So that's just a traumatic. I can't even get over it. I'm trying to finish the story, and it's. So another problem was she was also bleeding very profusely, and the doctors told her later it was because she was having problems with, and again, a little bit graphic. The placenta was detaching from the walls, which, again, anybody who knows about childbirth knows that's a very, very, very bad thing. Um, so she said she was crying, but she was trying to stay calm and collected, so that Jaden would be calm, and he was scared, she was in pain, it was a really weird situation. But Jaden helped move the new baby, whose name was Dax, out of the breech position, so he was able to flip him around. And that, of course, was all with the mother's instruction, and finally got him out, all the way out properly. But that's not where this whole scenario ended. So this 10-year-old boy just had to deliver his baby brother, and not only deliver the baby brother, but flip him around because he was he was coming out the wrong way. And then the baby got out and he wasn't breathing. So the 10-year-old jumped up, ran to the kitchen, and got a nasal aspirator. And because she's got an 11-month-old daughter that she uses it on her. And he came back and started pumping air into the baby's mouth and nose, and the baby began breathing. About that time, the emergency medical technicians arrived, so the ambulance got there. They took him to Lake Charles Memorial Hospital, and then Richard joined them later. That's, I think, the husband or the boyfriend. After rushing home from work. The baby is doing well and expected to come home from the hospital in another week. And in recognition of his heroism, Jaden will be honored at Maplewood Middle School on Monday by the mayor and the first responders. And yeah, this is I just reading that was kind of intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't do it. I don't. Yeah, no. I think that was me, I would have froze up.
My question is, now obviously, I do not know a whole lot about childbirth whatsoever. So, but how did is this an issue that the mom has had before? Is she some sort of nurse or doctor or something? Because
I have no clue.
How do you know just to if that happened to me, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. Get the baby out. I wouldn't know how to rotate it. She's giving him these, at least to me, it sounds like pretty specific instructions. So I wouldn't know more about her background with all this. So granted, from the sound of it, that's got to be her. I'm assuming her third child then.
Yeah.
So technically, she's been through it before, but how do you just know what to do about a baby in the breech position?
Well, it depends. I mean, if she's had 3 kids, we like you said, I don't know too much about childbirth. You don't know. Maybe that's something doctors cover with them is hey, this is something that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. But do they prep you for when that's gonna happen? Because I know they prep you for a lot of stuff, but do they prep you for okay, if the baby's gonna come out and we're not around, here's what you got to do? Maybe I honestly don't know. So.
They could. I mean, because stuff like this does happen quite a bit. Because accidents do happen, or it gets to the point where people don't realize that. So one of my sisters, she was pregnant and she wasn't sleeping that well, and So I'm gonna call him her baby daddy because or her boyfriend. He's her boyfriend now. So her boyfriend was like kind of got up and saw that she was up, like
Mm-hmm.
because I guess she was sitting there and she counted the contractions that she was having, and then she
Yeah.
got up and got dressed, and I think at one point she took a shower, and she was just all calm and collective, and like I don't remember if that was before or after he found out, but then she woke him up and he like rushed out of the house.
Mm.
Well, like she got up and did all this stuff, and
Yep.
there was one person that I noticed who said like she got up, did her hair, and like just did a whole bunch of stuff right before she went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, really? Like, really? I don't know.
I mean, from what I've been told, it all depends. Like there are people like this where it's like your water breaks like or you get those contractions like the baby's coming like right now.
Yeah.
So and like
The-
right now. There's no push, it's just coming out. It's like but there are plenty of women where they have that. I mean, it takes sometimes hours and
Mhm.
hours and hours.
And then there's
for
other times where it's
childbirth,
like two
so.
contractions and the baby's feet or the baby's head's popping out and grounding, and
Yeah.
they're like, uh oh. That's when you see like the guy flying down the expressway doing
Yeah.
like 90, maybe 95, and the cop follows him, pulls him over. He's like, "We're having a baby."
And
Have
then
you
they
seen
get a
the?
police escort. Yeah.
No, well, either they'll get a police escort, or if she's far enough along, the police will sit there and deliver the baby. Because I'm pretty sure they're trained for that.
Ooh, dang.
I think that is one thing that police officers are trained for, just in case that. Because I think that's actually a pretty that happens quite a bit too. Because I mean, you think about it, if a girl's going into labor,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's happened before where it's like, my wife's having a baby. Okay, stick close, and they give them a police
Mhm.
escort all the way there because they can go a lot faster.
Yeah.
Like if you're following a cop car, you can go really fast,
Yeah.
as fast as you can keep up with the cop car, which is nice, and then people just kind of clear out of your way. So, but then there's a point when they get there, and because they stopped them, and they didn't quite make it, or they weren't going to make it.
Mhm.
I know that there was one story we covered a long time. I'm talking like right when you started coming on the show, and it was about a girl who was going into labor. They were on their way to the hospital, and she's like, "Stop the car! Like, we're not gonna make it. This baby's coming now."
Yeah.
And I think it was the husband stopped the car, and they delivered the baby right there, and then they called the ambulance. There's a trend. Usually an ambulance is called
Yeah.
because at that point the baby will come out, or like the birth will happen, and the ambulance will be on its way. When it gets there, it'll take the mom and the baby to the hospital, make sure everything is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being 10 years old, like it's one thing for a cop to do it, or like
Mhm.
the father of the child. A 10-year-old boy.
And with all those complications.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I have a friend. She's a nurse, and that's what she does all the time. Is she helps with delivering babies, and yeah, she says sometimes like the horror stories that can happen. I mean, it's not like it happens to every woman out there, but there are instances where it's like, okay, this can happen. X and Y and Z can happen. It's like, and it gets really tough, and it's very difficult, to stay calm, make sure you don't uh, stress anyone there out
Right.
any more than they are. Like I know in some cases she said pretty much they've almost had to lie to some of the women where it's like, they bring in, other nurses and doctors. It's like, oh, what's going on? Like, no, you're fine. It's like inside they're like, no, you're not. Like, we need to get this solved right now, but we can't have you panicking and, making the situation any worse than it is.
Right.
So,
Well, sometimes that's exactly what would happen is
yeah.
it would stress them out and cause maybe a worse complication. Um, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong. I mean, my sister had a disease where I think her blood pressure went way way up. Like my nephew had to be